Hello, ladies. Welcome, gorgeous souls, to my Facebook Live. Beautiful Sunday. I am so excited that today is actually sunny. We have had the most gloomy weather. Not that cold, but very, very cloudy. And today is a special day. So I'm really happy that the sun is shining and cooperating because it's my beloved's birthday today. It's Luke's birthday, and many of you know my husband, and he's a dreamboat. He's just the most wonderful person in the world, and it's his birthday today, so we're gonna go out and celebrate afterwards. And we went for a beautiful walk by the lake and just did some dreamscaping and really feeling into this year for him and for us. And it was such a treat because he was just saying the other day on a walk with our son, well, they were both kind of complaining that it's been so kind of gloomy, like just cloudy. And funny enough, it hasn't been bothering me at all. Usually in the winters, I can feel that, that kind of heaviness when it's not sunny. And yet I've just been like fine this winter, and yet they've been kind of noticing it. So here we are today with just the most glorious sunshine. I wonder how it is where you are. Let me know. Let me know if it's sunny. Let me know if it's gloomy, and where you are. It's always fun to know where you're chiming in from. So, by the way, cheers. Today's going to be just a really nice, casual live. I wanted to share a process that I know might help some of you, because I've been getting a lot of DMs, especially since my last live, and then the one before that was the masterclass on receiving, and this is really resonating for a lot of you. It's bringing up a lot for a lot of you too, and some of you are on the fence. You're about to make a big decision as to whether or not the Receive program is right for you. It's, a big investment, $1,1111. That's a lot of money. And of course I do have a payment plan, so you can split it up in 2 payments, but I know what it's like when you're about to invest in yourself. And I also know what it's like. It can feel scary, I also know what it's like when we want to receive. And sometimes what we want to receive is either the money for the investment, or the money for something else, or of course it doesn't have to be materialistic. Sometimes what we want to receive is really our own clarity, our own intuition, that divine guidance to really know, okay, is this right for me? Is this decision meant for me? Is this the right time for me? Etc. And also, some women have been asking for, special discounts and trades and scholarships, and I get it all. I get it all. But what I really want you to know, and out of this process today, I want you to really get a sense of your own power. I'm really coming to a space in my life, just having, entered my 60th year, having a birthday, and it's like, if you don't know yourself by now, woman, is what I tell myself. It's like, it's just time to claim it. And I think back on all the years that there were things I wanted to receive. And there were some things, even about myself, that it seemed to take its own journey, its own sweet time. And now that I have, it's like life is different. When we can really own it and claim who we are and really hear our own voice and the truth of that and live into that, well, the universe just clothes us in that. We are all clothed. We are all, it's like information. The whole universe is light and formation, right? And so we are all information. We are all receiving basically from our internal structures of our mindset and our heart set, our emotions, our beliefs, these memories even, and ways that we have memorized ourselves into being. It becomes information, and that is showing up in our body, it's showing up in our beauty, it's showing up in our our external landscape is such a reflection of our internal landscape. So depending on what you want to receive, whether it's materialistic or something more internal, and we don't judge any of it because it's all valid. Whatever you desire is valid. And yet, you know, how many of us really do own that and claim that and know that and really receive ourselves from the depths, you know, from the scary parts, from the embarrassing, awkward, maybe secret desires, etc. Never mind just the basics of, you know, who we are, what we stand for. You know, we can get all muddled up because we care about fitting in. We care about what others think. We are social animals, after all. And so it's natural to want to understand our peers and care about what others are feeling and thinking around us. However, I know my women, a lot of my Earth Empress women are, you know, medicine, like beauty is a medicine for them, and nature is a medicine for them. And yet it's very difficult for some of them to receive their truth and to be able to walk tall and regal in this world because of sometimes what other people think and what other people want and what other people are doing and saying. And I have, you know, clients that they want to do what I'm doing, for example. Thank you for the hearts, I love it. I love seeing when it resonates, you know, for you. And I've got clients that want to do what I'm doing, which is basically, I have impact, I have influence, I inspire, I make a good income by being myself, by just showing up. And yeah, it can be a little tricky. Like, you can see me, I can be pretty awkward. I say oopsie all the time. Wasn't that adorable? Like, I screwed up. All kinds of things happen, especially when we're doing something live. It's not like in the old days where we would, you know, do a recording and then you could edit it really nice and everything. Now it's like a whole different animal. So when I make mistakes and when I mess up and stuff, I kind of think that's of service too, because it shows you don't have to be perfect. You don't have, whatever that is, right? You just get to be yourself. And yet so many of us, we hide. You know, we have behind the scenes shame of how we're living. We do things that we don't feel really proud of. And all of these strange behaviors very often are because the basics aren't being honored. Like, just really what we feel, what we think, who we are, what we desire. When we're trying to fit into all these boxes of what other people expect, and it could be our family, it could be our partner, it could be whatever, right? I want for my women to be able to always hear their truth, to be able to always honor their truth. And it's not that we're going to be selfish and think that we're better than anyone else. It's that I think it is the most generous way to live. When we take exquisite care of ourselves, when we hear our guidance and we follow it. It sounds simple, and yet it's not. How often have you had an intuition but not followed it because of, you know, maybe it just felt like a little too wild or a little too whatever, right, for what other people are comfortable with. Maybe you're not that comfortable just owning it and saying, this is me, you know, warts and all, better or worse. When we can't really allow and accept, how can we receive? That's part of the process. And so if you want to receive more into your world, into your life, it's really about receiving yourself. That's like one of the very, very tenets of receiving, is to allow and to receive yourself and your truth and your intuition, your clarity. This is a big one for women, clarity. And I always say, it's not so much that you don't know what you really want. It's more that you don't give yourself permission to really honor what you want. So we're going to do a beautiful process today. It's simple, and yet it's powerful. And it's something that I do. Like, for example, something's come up in my world right now. So I'm kind of going to do this with you because I really desire some some guidance around this. And I know some of you want to take the Receive program and you're not sure how you're going to afford it or if it's the right thing at the right time for you. There's all these questions that come up. So I'm going to share my process, and I'm going to go through this process with you today. And I invite you to just, close down any distractions, because you can get a lot out of this if you actually do this with me. And just allow yourself to receive. This is a part of my process of receiving. So what we're going to do first, if you have a pen and paper or a journal, that would be great if you want to go and grab that. I have mine here, and I also have a couple things that I'm going to share with you. And if you don't have that, it's okay. I'm going to sort of by proxy do this for you. So you don't have to have anything. You can just watch and be open and receive, okay? So this process, if you want to write it down, actually, it's called the S.T.I.L.L process. And I know for some people it means sit till I learn love. And I love that. I think that's great. And sometimes that's what I do. I sit until I am transformed and transmuted into a place of love and acceptance, right? But for me, the S.T.I.L.L process, it means something else. It's an acronym, and I want you to write it down if you'd like. So just put the S on top of your page, and then under that, the T, and then the I, and the L, and the L. And I'm going to share with you what it means, and then we're going to go through it. Now, when I do this process, there's a lot that might happen prior. For example, my walk today. It's all part of how I connect with myself, connecting in nature. There's many, many ways. I'm going to share some of them, especially with the first one. Well, the second one, leading. There's ways of leading. But today we're going to do just like something really simple, because I'm sitting here. I'm not going to be doing some of the other ones in front of you, but I am going to share what those are, because there's many ways that you can really do this process and feel the connection so that you can receive your divine guidance and your clarity. And ultimately, why do we do these processes? Why do we even bother, right? Well, as people are asking me for scholarships and discounts and etc., trades, one of the things that I really feel when a woman is, first of all, she's brave enough to do that, so she's putting herself out there. And I think asking is part of receiving. It can be, especially if we are asking in a particular way, in a particular energy. But ultimately, you wouldn't have to ask these things if you really knew and really received your power. And when I do a process like this, it always, it syncs me up with my own power. And this is not available just for someone like me who's on camera sharing it. It's for all of us. It's within all of us. And I love to share these things. I really do feel that I give away half of my work for free, because I know there's just like a gradient of the women who are watching me. Some of you have been watching me for 10, 12 years. And some of you have grown like I have grown when I started this work, my site, Earth Empress. I remember just, like my husband would give us, I would go shopping, he would give me like $100. That was my budget for the week for a family of 4. And I would want to buy something extra, either, a lipstick for myself, or even usually more. I didn't really need a lot of things for myself. I was not only pretty much okay there, but we didn't really go out much, so I didn't really need a lot. But I always wanted to have different things for my kids, because I was homeschooling and I wanted books. I wanted particular toys that weren't plastic but were handmade. Like, I was always on the hunt for things. And so I would always like take some of the money out of the money that he gave me, the budget for food, and I would go to Goodwill and purchase secondhand toys or books for the boys. And it was difficult. Like, I remember when I would be standing in line at No Frills, the grocery store. These are places I used to shop. I don't have to shop there anymore, and I'm very grateful for that. I get to shop at stores that have more of a, fresher produce and a more upscaled atmosphere, and because it was kind of depressing, those places. At least I felt that. And I felt always like a little bit like, oh, I wish we had more. That was, the dream. And I remember going with people into Costco, and they had memberships and I didn't. And it was like, oh my gosh, people, like, look what's available here. So this is going back a few years, and many people have been with me. I know some of you have been with me all this time, and you've watched me grow, and you've watched my income and my ability to, my capacity to receive has really expanded, as is my creativity and my confidence, etc. And some of you have really grown with me. I've mentored many of you, and I've watched your journey as well unfold. And so, if you're one of these women who want more, and you desire to receive more and expand in your capacity, this is why we do a process like this, because it really reminds us that everything is available. This universe is abundant and infinite, but as I always say, it's our job to be able to receive it. And receiving it's not complicated, but it's a little tricky, because it's not as just simple as, well, I'm open, where's my stuff, right? Wouldn't that be wonderful? But the truth is, the universe loves us so, so much that here's how I look at it. Say, for example, you think to yourself, oh, I would just be so happy, like my life would be made if I was a millionaire, or if I had my soulmate, the love of my life, or the dream job, or whatever it is that we desire, right? But did you notice how I phrased it? I was like, I would be so happy if. In other words, I'm not happy now. I need something to be happy. And I just believe that the universe is always trying to return us to love. So it's like, if you need something, you don't really get it. I always say, if you need it, you're not ready for it. We receive more in a state of already having. And in fact, in the scripture, it says, to he who has, more shall be given. To he who has not, even what he has will be taken away. That sounds really harsh, but it just goes back to my point of, you have the power. And the universe literally is a reflection of you. Everything is you. It's all your projections. So it's not so much that the money or the soulmate or the house or whatever can come to you. It really comes through you. It comes through our state of being and our consciousness. And in the receiving program, I teach these energetics, because it's just a matter of flicking a switch. And when you do that, it's like the gush. It can come in now. But so many of us are just so contracted in these narratives and stories and false identities about ourselves. And it's out of those stories and narratives, and it's all programming. That's like the avatar. That's not us. That is not who you are. And so when you think that's who you are, then you feel you are in a state of contraction. And when you're in a state of contraction, what can come in, right? And all the light and everything is just particles and information. How can it really come in if we are in a state of contraction based on our own narratives and stories and identities, etc.? So we do massive shifts on all of that in the feminine formula of receiving that's coming up next week. So the Release to Receive sold out. That program's sold out, and we're doing that tomorrow, and then the full journey starts next week. And there's a couple spaces for that left. So if you have any questions, just DM me or leave a comment below. And you can also just check out the program now if you want, while we're on live before we do the process, at earthempress.com/receive. and you'll see what I'm talking about if you don't already know, because I know there's a few new people here. Thanks for the hearts. I'm glad you love it. It's a masterpiece. It's like an amazing program. I have the craziest testimonies of what women have been able to receive. Like, there's really nothing that my women haven't been able to receive. Like, I always say, from pregnancies to promotions to proposals. And I've gotten to witness that, as you know, I've taken over 120 women through this Receive journey. Love the hearts, ladies. Feel the love, because you're all worthy of it. This is like, to me, transformation is the most exciting game in town. And it's available to all of us. And it's just really a matter of making that switch, you know, turning on the switch of your infinite power, you know, and connecting to it, right? And so this still process really helps us to connect to it. And it's just like, I love this stuff. This is like good, clean fun, right? So where do I want to start? You know, it's funny, my husband, I told you it's his birthday today. And so one of our sons who lives in Vancouver called to wish him happy birthday. And our son, this particular son who's in Vancouver right now, he's an actor, and he was talking to my husband about, it's just, this is so crazy and funny, because here I am doing this launch for my Feminine Formula Receive program, and he doesn't know anything about that. And he started talking and telling my husband, because he was on speaker, and I could hear him, and he was saying that he's been doing these auditions lately, getting callbacks, like so many things are happening for him. And he said what he's been doing differently, or just recently, is he's just really been relaxing and going in with like so much authenticity. And my husband was saying, well, what's shifted? How are you doing that? Or, you know, like, how are you just so relaxed? And like, what's different? And he said, I'm just, instead of like over giving or proving myself or try to sell myself, sell them on me, he says, my energy is really just about receiving. And my husband's like, oh, that's so interesting, because Mom's doing a whole program on that. And it's funny, because one of the things about receiving, like when I think of my son, Liam, that's the actor, and I have another son, Landon, but Liam, when he was a little boy, he once went missing, and we were doing an art show. As some of you know, I'm an artist, and I was doing an art show way back in the day, and then I stopped my art forever, and then I had my Earth Empress and my mentorship, and then I started my art 3 years ago. So some of you don't know, but I used to do art back in the day, and really I just did it for my family and friends, and made beautiful paintings for everyone's walls and my kids' rooms and stuff like that. So here we were at this art show, and my son went missing, and it's like crowded, so many people. It was downtown Toronto, and I was just mortified when I found out that he was missing. And of course, so was my husband. We were just so panicked. We literally ran in 2 different directions. And I remember thinking only one thought. Like, when I think about it, I get kind of emotional, because as a mom, you know, like how scared and panicked we can be. And I'm just amazed that my first thought wasn't like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I'm going to do if we don't find him. That was not my thought at all. I had one thought, and that was, we are going to find him, and he is going to be in my bed tonight. Like, there was just no other possibility in my mind. And because I had that congruency, I didn't cry, I didn't panic, I didn't freak out, thank you guys. I just stayed so sturdy. And I had the thought, you know, go across the street, like have someone call the police and, you know, create a search, right? Whereas my husband was so panicked. He was just running around asking everyone if they saw him. And, you know, he did his thing and I did mine, but I was just really calm, like almost Zen calm. And this is the whole idea. When you have that congruency, like if you are here's what I want to say about receiving. If you desire something, whether it's to be, do, or have, and if you are not congruent in that desire, how is it going to come? And if it does come, will it even be fulfilling, or will it come to you the right way that gives you the most ease and grace and joy and fun. So congruency is everything. And it's something that is how I teach. There's 5 ways to be congruent, and I teach that in the receiving program because that's just so important. And once you know this skill, it makes everything easier. And even when I said, you know, you can have, do, or be anything that you desire, anything you want, does that resonate for you? Do you feel resonance with that statement? Is there like harmony in your body? That's kind of what congruency means as well, like harmony. I had harmony in my body when we were looking for Liam because I just had no doubt that we were going to find him. So there was no, like, even though I was panicked, there was no reason to really like freak out and can't think straight and be a puddle. There was no time or need for that. It was like, we got to find him. We're going to find him. So when I desire something, it's like a knowing. There's a congruency. There's a harmony. But so many people, that's the work, right? To have that congruency. So let me see who's here. Hi, Laura. Love this. Go, Liam. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, Debbie and Valerie. I'm so glad you're here. And Asra and Kim. Yes. Really? Oh my gosh. You think of California as like so gorgeous all the time. Hello, Rose. Just so happy you're all here. Hello, Arena, my dear. I know a lot of people watch this like afterwards. So if you do catch this later, just hashtag after party. And if you have any questions about the receiving program or this process or anything, just leave me a message or DM me. I prefer if you just leave a comment, actually. That way someone else who has the same question, I can answer it at the same time. That really helps me a lot. So this congruency, this idea, you know, everything is either allowed or disallowed in our experience. You know, what we want to receive, it's allowed or disallowed based on us, not based on anything out there. That's the crazy part of this. Like when you tap into your power, you can receive anything. You can have it, you can do it, you can be it, you can become it, you can receive it, you can manifest it, however you want to say it. So, it's all based on our identity. And what else do I want to say? I think the main thing is 2 things. 1, to have that clarity of what it is you desire. And 2, I really believe you can have and receive anything as long as you don't have to go against yourself to have it. So that's where the congruency comes in, right? So we're going to do this process, and this is going to really help you to receive your own congruency and to know, to hear, to receive the guidance, the intuition, and ultimately to tap more into your power so that you can have what you want, basically. And as women, I think it's very important for us to have what we want. I'm on a big journey right now to create more receivers, because one thing I know about women, we're multipliers. Our bodies multiply, everything about us. When we love something, we share it. When we're angry and pissed off, we could scorch a village. Like, we are powerful. So I want more of us to be receiving so that everyone in our life benefits when we do. So you've written down the S.T.I.L.L, right? So I'm going to go backwards. I'm not going to tell you what the S is. I'm going to tell you what the L, and so on, because this is how I actually do this process. So the first L, is that where I want to start? That's where I usually start for myself. So, okay, I'm going to do it kind of how I do it. So it sounds backwards, but this is how I do it. So I remember it by S.T.I.L.L, and as some people say, sit until I learn love, and that's cool. But my process is the L actually stands for, the first L stands for light. So what I like to do is take my little rose quartz candles, and I have the rose quartz candles and the rose quartz hearts. They're in my beautiful creation kits, because some of you know I'm creating a course on manifestation, but I call it creation, and there's a reason why. But anyway, we won't get into that. But in my creation course kits, I do sell these. They're on my website, and it also comes with a beautiful eye mask featuring my art, and it's made with silk. It's so luxurious, and my journals, and I'm a big journaler. I love to write down my insights and everything. In this process, you're going to get some insights, so I hope you have your journal handy. So the first thing I like to do when I do a process like this is I really like to invite spirit in. So I will say, I light this space with divine love and grace, and I just invite spirit in with us all. And again, as I said, if you don't have a candle right now, that's fine. If you do, great, but I'm lighting this for us by proxy for you. And yeah, just imagine how the light of the candle, really the luminescence, really all of life is really light and information. And that's what we are too. And the more that we receive our truth, and the more that we release the blocks and the patterns and the habits and the conditioning and the programming, etc., the light is there and it just can shine through. And our luminescence is what magnetizes what we desire to us. So when I light a candle, it always reminds me of my light, and also my God-given responsibility to protect my light, to protect my desires, to protect my spirit and my truth. So I light the candle, I invite in spirit, I invite in the light, and I do this with a lightheartedness. So that's the other aspect of the light. It's like sometimes when we do these things, we really need, we need the money to pay the bills, we need love, we need whatever it is. And I just take a breath. I know what that feels like to be in such need. And I've certainly been there. You know my journey, living on the streets, and I've had many journeys, right? Being an orphan at 16. And when you go through such intense experiences like that, it can stay with you. Like a lot of it's still in my cells, even though so much of it I think has been cleared out. I can relate. And when any of my sisters are in great need, I feel it. I know the feelings. So I approach this particular process and all of my receiving and manifestation in a lighthearted way. If you can be playful, if you can, just sort of lighten up, right? Don't take it all so seriously. Don't be too attached to the outcome. It just creates more flow. It doesn't block the flow. So I light the candle and I make sure that I'm lightening up and allowing my heart to feel light. Then the next L, we're going backwards up. The next L stands for lead, L-E-A-D. So write that down by the second L. And for me, that really represents that because I have been blessed on my journey to have really understood my responsibility, my personal power, my God-given birthright, etc. How I see life is, it's not a matter of, me responding to life so much as life is responding to me. That's how I've set it up in my world. So I lead, and that means that when I move in faith, the universe, it responds, it moves for me. And that's sort of the tagline for my manifestation course. I think it's something like that. When we move in faith, the universe moves for us or responds to us or something like that. And really, that's how I've set up my life, that it's really all about me in the sense that I can't put it on anyone else. Nobody is going to, as I tell my clients, do my push-ups for me. Nobody's responsible for me. Yes, I can receive help and assistance and guidance and support, but it's on me, ultimately, my results and my happiness and my health and everything. So I feel like it's so important that I really really, really, really receive the weight of that, the gravity of that. And when I do, in a lighthearted way, of course, but when I really get that, right, then how it informs how I'm going to lead myself and what actions and aligned, etc., and the universe will respond to me like the perfect lover, attentive to my every need. So that's how I see it. And so you can lead yourself, as I was saying earlier, there's many ways. You can say a prayer and really start this process. You've lit the candle, now you say a prayer. You can sing a song, chant, tap. There's many things one can do. Dance. What other things have I done in the past? Well, ask a question. Things like anything that's basically particle flow, where you're starting to really allow yourself to kind of like connect, right? And you're leading yourself, you're leading this conversation with the universe. You want clarity, you want an answer, you want more of your power, you want to trust yourself and really hear your intuition, right? So you lead the conversation and you do it however you want. You get the particle flow going. And is there any other ways that I do it that I forgot to write down? No, basically, I might go for a barefoot walk on the snow, etc. But that's some of the ways that I do it. So I might paint, if you're creative, you can do a creative act as well. Just anything that gets you, oopsies, in that flow. So then the I stands for, you could call it inviting spirit, you could call it your intention. That's really the way of connecting to what it is you want. So when, this is the reason we're doing the S.T.I.L.L process, is because there's something we desire. We want some clarity around it, or an answer, some guidance. So I'm just going to set my intention for this process today with all of you. So my intention is really to share from a deep, loving space of lightheartedness and yet profound appreciation for our power. And in so doing, I trust and know that this process can really infuse and ignite every woman here so that she might really honor her intuition and receive her truth and trust herself so that she can open and receive her answers and her desires like never before. So that's my intention with this process, that would be the case for you and for me. So after I've set my intention, I've invited spirit, I feel like I know what I want out of this process. And I have another intention for why I started to do this process today and invited you all along. So I have the intention for us as a group, and then I have my private intention with that situation that I told you I'm dealing with earlier. So for you, what is your intention? I would just invite you to write it down. It could be in point form, and it's something you want. You could say, I want, I desire, I intend. I'm so grateful for, however you like to say it. And after you've written your intention, and I'd love to know, like, if you don't want to be personal, you don't have to share that part, but what are some of the desires? Like, I'd love to know. Like, some of you are working on, because some of you are working privately with me, so I know the desires range. It's not just the generic things. I'd love to know, like, what's up for you? If you want to share it, go ahead and share it. I'd love that. And after we've done the lighting the candle, we're leading ourselves and the universe responds, and then the intention is set. So we're clear about what we want. We're clear about why we're doing this process, right? So then the T, and then the S, right? So the T stands for me, it's just very simple. I like to track things. that helps me to remember and really hold the clarity afterwards. So I invite you to make sure you have something to write with, because you want to be able to receive the jewels and not forget them. So I like to write things down and then refer back to them afterwards. And we're going to do the actual process after we've done the S.T.I.L.L, sort of the acronym, so you know what it is. And if you receive any insight or ideas, or hunches or feelings or whatever, sometimes I get a symbol. I see things very symbolically. Like, for example, like when my feather just danced its way to the ground from my earring, or if I'm seeing a feather, lots of times when I'm out there, I always take it to mean lighten up. For some reason, that's what feathers represent to me. Just, spirit's got me and it's okay. Like it's a very affirming sign. For you, you might, when we do this process, you might receive another symbol, and it could be as generic as a star or a heart or something in nature, or it could be something that we can't even, like, I would never even think of, but it will have a personal meaning to you. So be on the lookout for that, because our own mythology, how our spirit speaks to us, isn't the same usually as how anyone else is speaking to them. But it's so good to receive your particular symbols and narratives and mythology so that you can understand yourself and understand the guidance that you're receiving. So now comes to the very first letter, which is the S. This is for sacrifice. I know that doesn't sound fun, so we can also use the other word that I often use, which is surrender. That's a little softer way. But I really feel for asking for something, if we're going to receive something, there's something else that we require to surrender. Like, you can't receive when your fist is already holding on to something. You can only really receive when you're open, like when your hands are, and your spirit is there's an openness, a receptivity, an allowing. So after you've received, you might, at the end of this process, have to surrender something. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what that could be after the process. So what I'd like to do is just invite you to get settled, get comfy. Just take a few sacred breaths. And you can put your hands on your stomach, on your heart, wherever you feel called to. And take at least 3 deep, relaxed breaths. Just allow yourself to really get here, arrive, be present. And if your arms or legs are crossed, just uncross them and just allow yourself to be comfortable. And we're just going to spend a couple minutes in this openness, this receptivity, and see if you can receive guidance, clarity, an answer, an insight, an intuition, a symbol, whatever comes up for you. And just breathe in through your heart and exhale through your heart. Allow yourself to drop in your body. And whatever's passing through your mind, just let it go like a cloud that just passes over the sky. Don't try to stop any thoughts or even insert anything in particular. Just see what's there. Just watch the show as everything floats by. You don't have to be attached to anything. But have in your spirit that question. Some of you I know want to receive certain things. Some of you want to take the receive program. Some of you have questions about your health, etc. Allow yourself to, without attaching and holding on or contracting, just have that in your field and allow yourself to receive any insight or guidance, anything at all. Now let's just take 3 more beautiful, deep, sacred breaths. And just connect with yourself. Allow yourself to just feel your body relax. Connecting with your intention, your question, and listening deeply. And when you feel ready, just start to wriggle around your toes and your fingers and slowly open your eyes. Ooh, the light is really streaming in here. I love it. So how was that? I hope you feel like a reset, a deepening. And did any of you receive? I received just towards the end. I thought it wasn't going to happen because I'm on camera and maybe it won't come through. Also, you can have a much longer experience of this. I just wanted to give you a taste of it, but I actually received, and I don't know what it means, I received the color red in a really, like, I couldn't miss it. I don't know what that, I have no idea. So I'm going to journal and allow myself over the next day or two to see, you know, what comes through, what that means, because that was not what I was at all expecting. Not that I had any expectation really, but love the hearts, ladies. How are you feeling? So I did mention there's something you might have to sacrifice or surrender. So after this process, there's always, like, the still, the S means surrender or sacrifice, and what I usually surrender or sacrifice can be something different for you, and it can be different each time, but quite often it is a story or an attitude around what it is that I want to receive. Like, for example, if I was in your shoes and I wanted something and I didn't know how I was going to afford it, let's say, then one of the things that I would want to surrender and sacrifice is that story. And I would want to allow whatever gift that I received, whether it was a symbol, an intuition, a feeling, I'd want to try to understand, like, for example, say for example, I have a story that I want to surrender and sacrifice and release and let go of and get rid of, for example. I would also ask, how does my gift that came through, what I received, which was the color red, how would that support me? So I'm going to be journaling about that, because usually I find they're connected in this incredible way. And I've heard amazing from some of my clients when we do this process, like how it weaves together is always like next level. We couldn't have concocted that if we tried, right? So for you, something that you'd like to surrender or let go of or sacrifice, because there has to be a sacrifice. In order for you to receive something that you want, if you want money or an answer or love or whatever, the person that you're in formation of right now, the formation of you, how you are being, something needs to be released. It's not so much that you need to be any different or you need to, in any way be better or more or, like I said, different. It's really something, there's something that's in front of it. It's like the sun is always shining, right? It's always shining, but a cloud could be in front of it, so we don't see the sunlight or feel the warmth. Well, for you, there's something you need to add on, but there may be something you need to let go of and sacrifice and release and surrender. So what is that? Is it this idea that, there's no way you could afford that, or, you won't be lovable until you lose 20 pounds. So there's no point going out on dates or meeting anybody because you're not available. See, this is the thing. Like I said, you're allowing or disallowing based on you. It's not really based on the outside. Money shows up in the most miraculous ways when we are in that flow and in our power and receiving. Money shows up. I get gifts all the time and money shows up. Now, I have also created bridges for the money to show up. Yes, you can do that as well. But some people create bridges and they receive very little money. So it's not just that, oh, I'm receiving money through my work or whatever. Some people don't receive that much money that way. And then other people who don't even necessarily have those particular structures to receive the money, like work or a job or etc., they receive it in other ways. It's amazing. This life is way more magical than we've ever been really taught. And I know a lot of people think that's woo-woo and crazy magical thinking, but I think it's part logical, part magical, this reality. I think we're part human, part divine. So for me, I let everything work for me. I'm lucky, but I'm also a good worker, I have the masculine doing and the feminine being. And this is what works for me. And usually my ladies feel very similar. And if what I'm saying does not resonate for you, that's cool. You know, there's other people that you might want to surround yourself with or listen to or whatever. But usually my ladies, they want to be grounded here in the 3D, but they don't want to be so grounded that they can't, you know, have quantum leaps. Quantum leaps are totally doable and possible. And opportunities, invitations, gifts, trips. I mean, the things that I've been receiving in my life, they don't even make sense. The support that just comes out of the blue. The love when you really, really, really need it. Or the money, whatever it is. The universe is on its tippy toes wanting to give to us. But we have to be open to receive it. So I hope you found this process helpful. And if you have any other questions about it or the upcoming Receive Feminine Formula of Receiving program, just leave a comment below or you can DM me. So I'm sending you so much love. I'm going to go and celebrate my man now for his birthday. I'm so happy. I just feel like we're falling more and more in love with each other. And we've had such a journey, like such a journey together. And to be 26 years in and to say that honestly is like, that's like such a gift for me to just, so many times we wanted to give up, or at least I did. He was way more rock solid than me, I can tell you that. But now I'm just so happy I was able to really hang in there in those rougher times. You know, marriages can go through a lot. So whatever you're going through, I'm sending you so much love. I trust this was helpful, and I will see you next time on my next live. Bye for now, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I love that you spent time with me. Just say goodbye to all of you. You're so welcome, Laura. So welcome. Yeah, I'm glad you found that calming. Hello, Desislava. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Sandra. Hi, babe. Serena, hello, hello. I'm so glad you guys were able to join me for this. And of course, if you're catching the replay, I love it too. There really is no distance or time. It's all an illusion. So whether it's the replay or live or Memorex, it's all good. So I'll talk to you all soon, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. Love you all. Bye for now. Ciao.